Kuzuzambo, a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Pupkem. Our top stories this week: some 2,000 private employees join the Provident Fund scheme. More than 816 million Nitum of government funds from 2010 to 2015 still unresolved. And doctors contesting the election will not be allowed to treat patients until the end of the election period. The Labour Ministry saw over 300 private enterprises joining the PF scheme with some 2,000 members till June this year. This is following the Ministry's notification asking all the private sectors to strictly comply with the PF scheme earlier this year.
The increase is an indication and an improvement in the compliance of the enterprises, according to the Director of Department of Labour. As per Section 99 of the Labour and Employment Act 2007 and its regulations, an employee is entitled to gratuity and provident fund upon retirement from the service.
All the civil servants are also paid the provident fund, gratuity, this beside their salary. So that's why I think people are attracted to civil servant, because they have some benefits. Already as per now Labour and Employment Act, now it's already there saying that all the private employees should also get this, they should join this provident fund schemes, so that there will be no discrepancy between the civil servant and the private sectors.
There remains a huge opportunity for private sectors in areas like providing benefits, incentives and training opportunities to make private sector jobs attractive. That being said, most private sectors are not willing to join PF scheme despite creating awareness.
Actually, this is a benefit for them also, not only for their employees. Why it is benefit means, now when they pay the provident fund to their employees, the employees' morale will be boosted and they will start working hard. And then for the employers, what they can do is that they can deduct when they file their BIT and CIT. So there is no loss for them.
Today there are 4,000 private enterprises joining PF scheme with over 50,000 members. And as per the regulations on working conditions 2009, all enterprises employing 5 or more employees must comply with PF scheme. The Labour Ministry will strictly monitor the implementation of the Provident Fund scheme. Those firms who do not comply will be penalized as per the Labour and Employment Act. A penalty of 3 million Nitum was collected from private sectors for not complying with the Labour Act from 2012 till last year. Sunampem for BBS News.
More than 10,000 households in the country reported having experienced food insufficiency in the last 12 months before the census was conducted. It means they had no enough food to feed all household members. This is according to the Population and Housing Census of Bhutan 2017.
The food insufficiency is prevalent in rural areas at 8% than in urban areas at nearly 3%. This means more than 8,000 households in the rural areas experienced food insufficiency and nearly 2,000 households in urban areas. There are some 163,000 households in the country and at least 6% experienced food insufficiency. Samti recorded the highest number of households experiencing food insufficiency with nearly 1,500 households, followed by Chuka. Meanwhile, Bumtang, Ha and Gasa reported less than 200 households. With additional information from Chonidema, Kiladem, PBS News.
Henceforth, if civil servants experience sexual harassment at the workplace, there is now a place where one can go and report it. 2 officials at the Royal Civil Service Commission are the go-to persons who attend to such matters. The initiative is put in place to ensure a conducive workplace environment for better performance. Sherab Zangpo and Roshmi Rana are the 2 go-to persons in case of any issues related to workplace sexual harassment. The 2 human resource officers will attend to walk-in complaints and carry out investigations prior to reporting it to the Well-being Committee, who will then take necessary actions.
Provide confidence to the civil servants so that they can perform better. So, if we receive a complaint, then we look at it, what type of complaint it is, first thing. Second thing, who are involved. Is it between the two people, or is it between the individual and the organization, or is it between some uncomfortable working environment, or something lack of facility? So based on this, then we investigate and then we deal with it.
Workplace sexual harassment goes beyond physical abuse. It can range from persistent offensive sexual jokes to inappropriate touching. Although there is no official record so far on cases of sexual harassment at workplaces, a 2015 study says female support staff face sexual harassment from their male colleagues and bosses.
It need not necessarily has to be a physical abuse or all civil servants getting involved in harassing each other. It can be to the simple things such as a male and female sharing one toilet, or it can be like open space where like all the staff are male and only one female is being put in that place. So anything uncomfortable, anything unwelcome at the workplace, this is where we want to look at it.
The Go-To Person initiative is a part of the civil servants' well-being service reform. It started earlier this month. Pup Game for BBS News. Shimgang Dzongkhag administration continues to grapple with the shortage of human resources. It is yet to get replacements for a few of its officials, including the Dzongda.
Since 2015 till date, 6 officials, mostly sector heads, have left the Dzongkhag administration. While some of them left for long-term training, others either got transferred or resigned. The Dzongkhag Human Resource Committee had written to the concerned agencies for replacement last year.
Mrs. Tarians Lakabina Omdalo, the Zonda me, the Nan Tindibig, the Bhutan This me, Bevdalo, Namesami Tapchame Beshunina,
Shimganzoka Tazurchi, Beshimledi, Ya Hero, Sap Tamchi Himal, Nesel Joilo, and Zumbevdaya, Dasona, Dato Zonra Mindula, Zondami, David Dadmis, Gopenlo, Sab, and Zumbevda, Asti, Gadibi, in Anya Samchadi,
Nesoro. 당신날에 로베찌디라 야레 사모오니 민두 티슈닐라 데 슝기 카톨레 네서 땅디라 베루라 데 야레 삽디나 히시날레 나기 미디바 네서 땅바진 데 넘스미 거든치네메 티슈닐라.
During the 11th five-year plan's final report meeting recently, Prime Minister Dashusring Topke said he is looking into the matter and a new Dzongda will be appointed for the Dzongkhag soon.
Dotop Momadira Naragi Bojim Namra Perulabi, once a chief felt the jacket on Goslavi. So once a chief felt jacket Matamachin, Nalumi Katichitandaru, Nahirchi, the Nepo, Chajitami, Ali Boletendi Gibe, the Sadapula Lambe, Duma to Mediani, the Ingru de titular of view, the Naragira, Tipu, titular.
Although the Dzongkhag administration refused to comment on the issue, sources said transfer of officials are directly managed by the respective ministries. The Dzongkhag administration do not have the authority to retain officials once an order is issued. Pema Samdrup in Shimgang, Sonam Lhamo for PBS News.
More than 816 million ngitam of government funds from 2010 to 2015 still remains unresolved. This is according to the Public Accounts Committee report on the annual audit reports from 2010 to 2015. This was discussed during the public hearing conducted by the committee with ministries and autonomous agencies.
The hearing was based on the resolution of the 11th session of the Second Parliament to resolve pending irregularities lying with the agencies. Bhutan Education City has the highest amount with over 110 million ngitam. Ministries have irregularities amounting to over 300 million ngitam, while autonomous agencies have over 160 million ngitam. The stakeholders justified their reasons to the committee. However, they have till 20th of June next year to resolve their irregularities. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
Smartphones have taken the world by storm, and Bhutan is no exception, with almost everyone owning one each. Smartphones are fast becoming an addiction hard to quit, with many glued to it all the time. An ongoing online survey by a group of students from Taktse shows that many youth are smartphone addicts already. The students are carrying out the survey to conduct a research on overcoming smartphone addiction. Let's face it, some of us cannot live without our smartphones. We have given it so much importance that it has become an inevitable aspect of our lives, and some might have already developed the so-called nomophobia. Nomophobia is the fear of being without your phone.
When I'm home without any work, I spend around 7 to 8 hours on the phone. I mostly spend data on Facebook, Instagram and WeChat. I feel like something is missing when I am without my phone.
The preliminary results of the ongoing survey shows 148 out of 212 respondents have anxiety over losing their phones. 118 feel the urge to use their phones in places they aren't allowed to, and 195 of them use their phones during bedtime. Moreover, on an average, they spend over 7 hours on their phones daily and pay over 3,000 yuan monthly for recharging phone balance and net packs. Doji Tenzin, a student from College of Language and Cultural Studies, along with his friends carried out this survey to come up with ways to overcome smartphone addiction. He says many are aware of the negative impacts of spending too much time on smartphones, but they do not care about the consequences.
Over the years, I have become smartphone addicted too. I feel as if something is missing when I'm without my phone. I answered the survey questions myself before floating it online. I found I am an addict. So I cannot imagine the younger generation who grows up with cell phones. If we use it for 2 hours a day, they might be using it for 6 to 7 hours. Plus, I come from a rural background and the amount of time I spend on phone is comparatively less than those living in towns.
He said once complete, his research findings can be used as a basis for other research on the issue.
Almost every youth own a smartphone today and are becoming addicted, but not much done to address this issue. In other countries, they have come up with measures to help people overcome this addiction. So we thought our voices might become a basis for those in position to find solution, even if we can't do so.
Doji Tenzin and his friends presented the preliminary findings of the ongoing survey at the Gross National Happiness Youth Leadership Program organized by the Gross National Happiness Center, Bhutan. The center, a civil society organization, plans to fund and support the research proposals and other ideas presented during the 5-day workshop. Students from 7 colleges of the Royal University of Bhutan are attending the event. Pupkem for BBS News. Kalikola River in Hamuzunka under Tagana has always been troublesome for the locals. Since 1992, the river has flooded 5 times, turning many fertile lands barren. This summer, the people are worried again because of a change in the river's course. They say the river has now started to flow towards the village.
Come monsoon, the swelling Kalikola River becomes a threat to people living in Bailatar. Locals here are still haunted by past memories of the floods. An embankment wall was built in 2016, putting residents at ease. But locals say the river has now started pressurizing the area just before the wall and could burst anytime.
Things are okay for now, but there are a few houses up there that are in a very risky situation. The river is flowing right towards them, We are all very worried. The river looks like it could burst its banks from above the embankment wall.
More than 15 houses in Bailitar are living with fear. According to the Gyeok administration, the change in the river's course is a result of locals extracting sand and stones for construction from that area. Gyeok officials said they are in talks with forest officials to stop the extraction and look for a solution to the issue. For Sonam Panjo in Dagana, Pasandoji for BBS News.
Some doctors contesting for the upcoming elections are not happy with the notice the Bhutan Medical and Health Council issued recently. The council issued a notice suspending medical practices until the end of the election period. As per the notice, medical and health professionals aspiring to join politics are not allowed to practice the profession until the end of the election period, and their registration with the council is suspended. It also states that they should get clearance from the Election Commission to revoke their suspension if they wish to practice after the election. Dr. Tandi from DNT and Dr. Samduf of DPT said Bhutan Medical and Health Council do not have the authority to make decisions regarding politics.
Other professions who are in politics, such as lawyers giving legal advice, engineers helping voters with their architectural plans, if all other professions can continue their architectural plans, if all other professions can continue to practice their profession and not be seen as a way to bribe their voters, I don't understand how doctors or medical people can be stopped from practicing their profession.
Bhutan Medical and Health Council Act 2002 is mandated to ensure ethical conduct of all registered practitioners. Nowhere it is mentioned that registered practitioners joining politics is illegal. BMHC has no right to deregister unless on ethical or disciplinary ground. Joining politics doesn't amount to breaching or inviting disciplinary action. It is direct infringement on the right of the citizen to practice lawful profession stated in the Constitution. Nowhere in election law states that doctors have to give up being a doctor to join politics.
The Bhutan Medical and Health Council said their notice is as per the provisions of the Election Commission's political party rules. The council consulted the Election Commission prior to issuing the notice since BMHC Act 2002 does not have any provisions on such issues.
We had a complaint which was referred by Ministry of Health, saying that one of the doctors who was a candidate for a political party was doing door-to-door patient treatment and all. And if we go strictly by the Council Act and the regulation, we don't have such prohibition in any of our provisions.
However, doctors can practice during emergencies. Meanwhile, other doctors contesting in the election said the suspension is not a problem so long as it applies until the end of the election period.
If it is an interim measure, I feel this is okay from my side. But they also told us that if it is emergency cases, it's up to the doctor's opinion and discretion to see the patient. But we cannot call many people and see. This will lead to unfair practice, leading to maybe getting more votes for the doctors.
It is necessary to suspend any commercial license once a proprietor decides to contest an election. Any candidate doctor treating a patient during election period will result in influencing voters. Hence, I fully support the suspension during election period. But after the election, an individual, even if elected, can provide medical services as an individual medical professional under the BMHC's license. Hence, there shouldn't be suspension. But if an elected doctor practices with profit motive, the suspension should apply.
5 doctors are taking part in the upcoming election. Pup KM for BBS News. The Chete whitewashing project, which began 2 years ago, has now whitewashed over 250 chetes in 5 districts of the country. The project, which has already covered Paro, Thimphu, Chuka and Tongsa, is now in Bumta carrying out its third phase.
Volunteers are in absolute concentration as they repaint the manuscripts on the walls of the chute. The project is currently carrying out the whitewashing works at Ura in Bumthang. They have already completed whitewashing about 80 chutes in the last 12 days. All the volunteers are students of the College of Language and Cultural Studies in Tongsa. Even though the project is running smoothly, there are also some challenges.
We have issues with transportation. We don't get vehicles to travel to different locations as much as we want to. The problem aggravates when there is a huge number of volunteers. Likewise, budget is another issue. Even if we have donors at the moment, the donation we receive is barely enough to cover the expenses for paints and lime, since we cover 108 chutes in each district.
Despite the challenges, the volunteers are keen about their project. They say they are proud for the service they are rendering to different communities across the country.
As I grow old and look back at the things I have done as a young man, this project will definitely bring smiles on my face. I'm really happy about what I'm doing, and I feel volunteering for the project was worth it.
The children, they are not being taken care in much part of the country, and that way I was interested and I was determined that I'll reach each and every children around the country, and that way, after that, I extended the project. Now I have decided that the children whitewashing project would be my lifelong project, because every time I come across a choten which is being whitewashed under my project, I feel happy.
Every time we see an abandoned chute glowing after the whitewash, it gives us immense pleasure. We take pride in the job we are doing.
Villagers can be seen supporting the project, serving tea and snacks to the volunteers.
What this group of young men is doing is great. We really appreciate their work. I thought they must be tired. I don't have much to offer, so I brought them a modest refreshment.
Firstly, what they are doing is like a ritual performed for the well-being of the country at large and all the communities. Secondly, this is a great way of accumulating merits and shredding their sins. We acknowledge what they are doing.
As the day comes to an end, the group rejoices the hospitality of the community and heads home accomplished, ready for the next morning and another chute. For Kipchu in Bumthang, Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
With swimming becoming more prominent in the country, Bhutan Aquatics Federation, in collaboration with International Swimming Federation called FINA, is training its future coaches. Bhutan Aquatics Federation, a new federation formed about 5 months ago under the Bhutan Olympic Committee, focuses on water sports.
With a mighty splash, the 8 participants get into the water one by one at the swimming pool in La Meridian. An Olympic coach from International Swimming Federation then observes and provides them with extra professional skills.
We as coaches, we are in an environment which isn't set, so it's very important for a coach every day to learn again.
Only a few participants will be selected to become a coach under the Aquatics Federation.
Now we do not have any professional structure in the country. Whatever swimming we are doing, there's no proper coaches in the country. I feel very fortunate to have an Olympic swimming coach here in Bhutan to coach few of us who would like to maybe become a future trainer for the aspiring swimmers in the country.
The training will be conducted for another 8 days. For now, with no proper infrastructures, the Federation will collaborate with hotels to train swimmers. Soon, the swimming pool complex will be renovated and managed by the Bhutan Aquatics Federation. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. This is Book Game saying goodbye.